fuel from them to run their factories. I really don't know. There's a lot of work that has to be done, which I'm prepared to do, and provide anybody with information. But I encourage you to go do your own homework as well.
Definitely. That's probably the most important thing of any of us that we can do. And unfortunately, in today's society, we don't have a lot of time for it. So a lot of us end up just hearing someone's opinion and going with that. And that's really not good enough.
No, it's not.
To do your own research. Maybe we can, an idea is to get involved with a group of people and get a couple people to research it, 2 out of 20, and then see what they come up with, and then they can share all that information with everybody else. Because we can't trust our politicians. That's pretty evident. So we need to take our own initiative and figure out what is best for us ourselves. We need to start taking responsibility for ourselves instead of letting others do that for us. Because the mess we're in right now, economically, politically, world affairs, all the rumors of war, that's what got us into this, is because we allowed a certain group of people to take responsibility for us instead of us taking responsibility for ourselves.
Right. So again, we'll update you as the time goes on and the information is gathered. And my recommendation is, if you don't want to do the research or you don't have the time to do the research, at least through Facebook or the Phoenix website, contact the people in the community that are concerned, that are going to be most affected by it, and ask them, why don't you want it?
That's a very good.
And they've got reasons. They have reasons,
Right.
And they're not irrational reasons. They really have. They're farmers, and they're concerned of the negative effect it's going to have on them, their farms, their families, and their future. And talk to them about it. See if you can get behind that, and then start thinking about, how does it affect the county as a whole? Does it open the door for more of these things to be built? Can you stop it once you start that snowball rolling down the hill? I don't know. We do have a depressed economy in this county, and I feel that we are prey to some of these corporations because we are more likely to approve this type of thing than an economy that is thriving. I don't think you find Ithaca approving something like this.
Right, but is the economy thriving anywhere in the country right now?
Well, that again, yeah. I mean, but this thing has been in the works, I believe, for years.
Okay.
And it's hopefully going to take years more for it to actually get approved.
Have they come up with an alternative site?
That I don't know.
Or has anyone thought about an alternative site? One where they might avoid some of these.
Well, I'm sure Bion has. I mean, Bion has. I'm sure they don't have all their eggs in our basket. They have a 1,700 cattle test site in, I believe, Philadelphia somewhere, which again, people here locally are saying, how can you use that to justify a 75,000 cattle system? We don't care what you did with 1,700 tests. That doesn't even match what you're planning on doing here. And we're already determined mathematically they're planning on doing twice as much as they're saying anyway, at 600 head a day. So again, it's there's a lot more research to do, but it's something I think people should be concerned about, because once it's started, there's nothing you're going to do to change it. It becomes enrooted in your system, and
it's very difficult to get it out once it's here.
Right, you can't get it out. They begin to have political influence. Their tax money begins to be considered in decision making. If they're never here, you're not going to miss anything that you never had. Okay. But once they're here, it's hard to uproot them and get them out of here. And it's something I think is worth your time to look into. So. And I'll update you on the university's green group that I'm going to meet with, and how they're going to get behind it, and what their opinion is. They're educated. They're people. Okay. They'll have a lot to say. Andy and I'll be both going to that meeting tomorrow night, and maybe they have a different point of view. I'm not beyond being convinced that it's okay, but I'm pretty close to nothing. But I will always leave my mind open to if they can prove to me that it's actually something that'll work. But since it's meat, I'm not on their team to begin with.
Right.
And that's a personal
I can
issue.
understand that. It's like, from a health standpoint, my personal belief is we eat way too much meat in this country.
Right. My understanding is 38 to 40% protein a day, when at maximum science says 12%. Now you can't ingest that much additional animal protein and expect not to end up having a toxic body that is just overworking itself to try to process this stuff. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, when I did a 3-week water fast when I first entered into the healthy movement of eating and taking care of myself, after 3 weeks I was still cleansing my body of fecal matter, and that tells me I had stuff impacted in me and probably still do. That if you never stop eating, you never clean it out. It just builds up, builds up, builds up, builds up. And the China study, which is a prestigious book that was written by a professor at Cornell University. It's derived from a 20-year study done observing the habits and dietary habits of the Chinese people. They've got a direct tie to cancer in this country, which is related to our ingestion of meat protein.
Yeah.
And God knows we're the best fed country in the world, but we're clearly the sickest.
Well, when you say we're the best fed, we're the most fed.
We're the quantity.
We're the most fed.
Yeah, we get more food for our buck than anybody else does.
Right.
But
I agree. I think our food supply is really substandard in this country.
Way, yeah. It's not. It's about money. It's about profit. It's not about health.
Right.
Our own government subsidizes a portion of our agricultural group that will never allow organic farmers to be on the same playing field with them, because they spend billions of dollars supporting corn, soy, canola,
and all this is genetically modified.
Right. And
so we really do need a grassroots movement for
because
our food safety.
Right. If you look at the genetically modified thing, now even the farmers who are maintaining the purity of organic farming are now having their crops crossbreeding when seeds in trucks going down the road are blowing into their fields, and they're being sued by Monsanto for infringing on their patents because their damn crops ended up crossbreeding with the seeds, and they're winning. Monsanto's winning.
They're really winning.
Oh, they're winning time and time again. Farmers are losing their farms trying to fight them.
That's just ridiculous. To me, that's just the corporate takeover.
Oh, absolutely.
We already live in a fascist country.
Right, and they own the courts and they own the government.
When fascism is when the corporations take over the politics, or when those two entities are one, which they clearly are in the government in the United States. So in reality, we have a government that is not too much different than the government of Nazi Germany.
And pretty much it is the success of Nazi Germany. It is what Nazi Germany was not able to accomplish, they have now accomplished in the United States.
And we hope this scares them.
You can look at Andy and I and label us nuts, and that's fine. But you're going to come to this same conclusion one day if you're not already, because it's not fantasy, it's fact. And
this is already happening in this country.
Right. You have to face it. You have to face the fact that your government no longer serves you. And this is about Oswego and about sustainability and about the world. It's not a pretty program. It's not a pretty idea. But wasting our time sitting around talking about growing organic crops when the world's going to hell in a handbasket is a waste of everybody's time and effort. You got to get at the grassroots. And right now in this small community, that slaughterhouse is just
just a way for us to need to practice flexing our political muscle.
Right.
Because as a group, as a society, as a sustainable people, we need to take responsibility for ourselves. That's the only thing that's going to get us out of this mess.
Right. And we have to take care of each other.
That's correct.
These are our neighbors. These are our family. This is a small portion of our family if you look at all of planet Earth, but it is local. It's their concern, and we should be concerned with them. And if we aren't supporting each other,